there! Welcome to Pizza and Pages with me, your favorite world local. So, today we're going to be talking about Les Mis. But before we get to that, let's see what we have for pizza. So today we got Domino's. Oh. Okay, which one should I eat first? Let's try the pepperoni and chicken. Good. Les Mis. It's kind of funny that I'm eating pizza right now because Les Mis kind of starts with bread. At the beginning of the novel, one of the main characters, Jean Valjean, gets in trouble with the police because he went to steal a loaf of bread. And the funny, ironic part about it is that he totally could have not stole it. Like, he could have just, waited, or if he didn't have money, he could have asked the baker. And he realizes that himself as soon as he gets put in prison. So, gets put in prison, hard labor, and Jean Valjean's doing that, and he says he gets bread in prison, but it's nasty. It's brown or black, and it has mice in it. So speaking of brown things, this is another piece of pizza. This is the second one, this one. And it is sausage, no, it's beef and Philly steak from Domino's with cheese. So one of the main complaints with the book Les Mis is that the plot lines are too hard to follow. But if you've ever read a Wattpad book, you know it's not that bad. It's kind of like Victor Hugo, the author of Les Mis. He was crazy. He was wild. He's that guy that, if you know him, you know. He was that guy when he died, all of the brothels, or where the prostitutes are, all of the brothels in Paris closed in mourning. Popular history says it was because, the obvious, but more likely the real reason was because Victor Hugo actually cared about people. Victor Hugo has Jean Valjean, the prisoner from earlier. He tries to escape, gets more prison time. Tries to escape, gets more prison time. Finally, his years are done. Jean Valjean is free to go. So he does. And at this point, he's been in prison for a really long time. And Jean Valjean decides, you know what, forget it. He's walking along, and he goes inside this parish, like a church, and goes inside, and the priest of that church happens to be a really, really, really kind guy. He's really nice. And then Jean Valjean tries to steal the 2 candlesticks, and instead of having him arrested, the priest tells him, "Why, you should have taken those 2 candlesticks and more," and gives him like gold and silver and a bunch of more coins and stuff. So Jean Valjean goes on his way, and then cutscene. And then we start on a different plot line. This is where things might get confusing, but hold on. This is the point where we start learning about Cosette and her daughter. And it talks about Cosette's background. She was kind of wealthy, but then her lover abandoned her. And she's pregnant with a child. So now she's a mom. And speaking of moms, hello! This is my mom.
I love pizza.
She wanted to eat pizza, so here we are.
I have a red pepper. And cheese.
So Cosette has the baby, and it's beautiful. It's a really pretty baby, and they're starving. They don't have anything to eat, etc., etc. And then so she goes and she can't do anything, so she gives her baby away. But not really. She sends money to this innkeeper couple who say they're gonna take care of the baby for her. And here's the plot twist. They don't. It was kind of like the musical Annie, where they make the orphans do the chores. That's how it was. This pizza is really good. I bet if Cosette, the daughter, had been able to eat this pizza, she wouldn't have been hungry. Unhappily. And meanwhile, we learn that Jean Valjean has become a mayor of a city. Really a town. But comes mayor. And is living there happily. So Cosette's mom comes to him asking for help. And he's trying to help her. And on her deathbed, she tells him about Cosette. So he goes to find Cosette, but then Javert, who's the inspector of Jean Valjean when he was a prisoner, shows up. And you would think that Javert will recognize him. Well, Javert does, but not really. Just like Clark Kent without glasses, Javert's kind of like, he's on the fence. He thinks this guy that is the mayor might be the prisoner, Jean Valjean, but he's not sure. And then, Jean Valjean realizes that the only way he can save an innocent man, who they suddenly think is Jean Valjean for some reason, the only way he can save this innocent man is by sacrificing himself. So, being the good man he is, he does. Anyways, so we're about halfway done with both our pizzas. And, coincidentally, we're also halfway done with our book. So, in Les Mis, Cosette's growing up. They're on the run. And now she's old. Cosette is a teenager. And that is when we learn about Marius. Marius was the son of a wealthy Paris noble. But he has some opinions that are too strong for his family, and so he gets kicked out. So Marius is just recently turned poor, and he's walking down the street when he sees Cosette and Jean Valjean sitting together in the park. And they sit there every day, and Marius goes for a walk every day, and the two young people meet eyes and, flirt a little bit, and then you already know it. Marius and Cosette fall in love. And Jean Valjean does not approve. And while this is happening, in the background, there's a smell of revolution. It's the French Revolution, and they're a part of it. So, Jean Valjean and Marius both get caught up in the fighting, while Cosette stays at home, worrying about her father. And her father and her husband, they elope. Everything seems like it's going great. Marius and Cosette have fallen in love. Jean Valjean finally lets them get married. The revolution is over. And Marius and his father are happy again. But then the truth comes out. Marius finds out through Jean Valjean that Jean Valjean is more than just the father of Cosette. He's a former convict.
Oh.
So Marius finds out. Cosette, by the way, is still oblivious. She doesn't know a thing. And Jean Valjean finds himself not welcome at their home anymore. So he's living by himself, contemplating life and death. No longer on the run because Javert killed himself. And right before he dies, Marius finds out that he owes his life to Jean Valjean because the man had rescued him during the fighting. So Marius realizes he was wrong, and he takes Cosette over to Jean Valjean. And they meet in his home right as he's about to die. Cosette professes her love for Jean Valjean. Marius apologizes, and everyone gets their wrongs set right. At the end, Jean Valjean dies. Why did he have to die? He was the main character, right? Well, the whole point of this 800-page book is that old has to make way for new. Jean Valjean represents old France, the country under Napoleon. So for the new country, Cosette and Marius, for them to be happy, Jean Valjean has to die. What's your take on Les Mis? Look forward to reading your answers in the comments. I'm gonna finish this pizza up. Thank you so much for watching.
I think I will get sick tonight.